Westerlo are currently sat 13th in the Belgian Pro League and have a real chance of relegation this season. They are winless in their last 5 games, have already conceded 41 goals, and pressure is building on manager Timmy Simmons. But today we are going to help Westerlo out, as we are going to take charge of the Fighting Roosters with the end goal of winning them a UCL trophy. However, today's rebuild does come with a twist. As Westerlo are based in Belgium, we will only be able to sign Belgian players in this rebuild, which should make the rebuild more challenging. And if you do enjoy the content, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it does really help me out. We're trying to get 5k on the channel. But let's now jump into FC25 and get this Westerlo rebuild on the way. So this is the Westerlo team we have loaded into an FC25, and it has to be said, this is not the best team on paper. We have got far too many goalkeepers on the books. The best player at the club is Islam Slimani, who has been around the block, but he's 36-year-old and only 73 rated. The rest of the squad, lads, really isn't the best, and it's going to take a lot of work to get this team competitive in the Belgian Pro League. Now, being completely honest, I actually like the 4-2-3-1 formation, and given the current players who play for Westerlo at the minute, I think this formation definitely suits us the best, but we do need to have a little play around with the personnel in the starting 11. So we've had a little play around with the personnel in the starting 11, and this, as it stands, will be the Westerlo team to take us into season 1. However, we do have some transfers to make, and kicking off the first season, we are blessed with 10 million euros in the bank, which, believe it or not, is actually a decent amount of money for a team like Westerlo. And I think looking at the starting 11, we absolutely have to bring a goalkeeper to the club, as Bolla is the best keeper at the club, but is only 70 rated and 35-year-old. We could also do with a right midfielder, as Yo just is not that good. But can we stretch 10 million euros out to bring us a goalkeeper and right midfielder to the club? I'm not too sure. And we have also transfer listed 5 first team players, including 3 goalkeepers. Hopefully these players will leave and will bring some funds back into the club. But kicking off our transfer window, we have identified a goalkeeper we want to bring to the club, and that man is Sene Lemans of Antwerp. He is 22 years old, 72 rated, looks like a pretty decent goalkeeper with good potential. However, it will be a pretty costly deal, as Antwerp could ask for anywhere from 4.8 to 6.5 million euros. Hopefully we can haggle a good price, because Lemans would easily make our team much better. And Lemans joins the club for 4.6 million euros, and this is a great way to kick off the rebuild. However, we are now left with just 5 million euros in the bank, but we do have some player sales in the pipeline. Now, we have managed to sell all of our transfer listed players, and that has brought us 4 million euros back into the club, as we now have 9 million euros to bring a right midfielder to the club. And the right midfielder we have identified to bring to Westerlo is Hugo Sikete of Club Bruges. He is 22 years old, he is 72 rated, has really decent stats and a few play styles as well. We can afford him, as it's going to cost us anywhere from 5.2 to 6.9 million euros. He would be a massive upgrade in the right midfield position, and he's also got really good potential. And Hugo Sikete signs for 5 million euros, and this is another very solid signing. And we are now left with 3 million euros in the bank. We've got no further players listed for transfer, so that's going to be our transfer window closed. And with Lemans and Sikete added to the starting 11, we do definitely look stronger heading into season number 1. Hopefully the players who are under 70 rated can develop for us, and we can be nowhere near that relegation playoff come the end of the season. Now, as we can only sign Belgian players in this rebuild, that means we can only scout Belgian players as well. So our scouts will be off to Belgium looking for strikers, cams, CDMs and centre backs. But we do already have a very promising CDM in our youth academy, 17-year-old, 65 rated Felix Bert. He's got 4-star and really good potential. We're going to promote him straight to the senior team and get him out on loan this season. And the same can be said for young goalkeeper Arthur van den Broeke. He is 16-year-old, 61 rated, got 67 to 93 potential, got plenty of player styles as well. He's also getting promoted to the senior team and sent out on loan. So our transfer window is now finished, boys. Our youth scouts are off scouting Belgium. Our starting 11 is picked. I don't really think there's much more we can do other than simulate forward straight through to the end of season number 1 and see if we can have better fortunes on the pitch than Westerlo are having in real life. So we have arrived at the end of season number 1, boys, and I just want to explain to you how the Pro League works in FC25. The top half sides enter the championship round, and the bottom half sides enter the playoff round. As you can see, we did come top of the playoff round on 41 points, 4 points clear of Standard Liège. We would then enter a playoff where we took on Royal Union Saint-Gilloise, who we beat 5-4 over 2 legs. I'm not too sure what this playoff is for, as Union Saint-Gilloise finished 4th in the championship round. We'll only know at the start of season 2 if we're in a European competition, because I'm not really too sure what we've just won there. Now in the Croquis Cup, we made the quarterfinals where we were knocked out by Royal Union Saint-Gilloise, but winning the European playoff and reaching a quarterfinal of the Croquis Crocky Cup, I think we've had a good season. So this is how the Westerlo team is looking at the end of season number 1, and you may see we have got a youth academy player in the team in Adam, centre back. He is 69 rated. He had between 76 and 94 potential, so he's got extremely good potential, and I thought, why not just throw him straight into the starting 11. We've had some really good growth across the entire team though. Loads of players now above 75 rated. Le Mans and Sikowet have had really good seasons in terms of growth. Now going into season 2, we are going to lose Alfie Divine as he's only in on loan, so we're looking to bring a centre attacking midfielder to the club, and Romens out at left back isn't really developing at the rate we would like, so we're going to be looking for a left back and centre attacking midfielder to improve our starting 11 in season number 2. I'm just hopeful we're going to have a good transfer budget. Now in terms of stats, Friggin was our best player this season, getting 18 goals and 1 assist. Syed Manesh had a decent season as well, getting 11 goals and 1 assist. The rest of the team did chip in with quite a few assists and goals, so we did spread the goals across the entire team evenly this season, which I do like to see. We just need to carry this form on into season 2, bring some new players in, and hopefully we can get into the championship phase of the league in season number 2. So we've arrived in season number 2, but the board have only given us 12 million euros, so it may be difficult to bring a centre attacking midfielder and left back to the club in this window. So we've identified the attacking midfielder we want to bring to Westerlo this season, and we are taking a bit of a risk. We've identified Genk youngster Konstantinos Ratsaz. He is 69 rated, 17-year-old. He's got fantastic stats, to be fair, and he's actually very affordable as well, as Genk are going to ask for anywhere from 3.2 to 4.2 million euros. Now I know he doesn't come in and instantly make our first team 10 times better, but he has got fantastic potential in FC25, and I think this would be a great investment for the future. Karatsas signs for 3.5 million euros, and I think we've done a really good bit of business. Now we've got 7 million euros left in the bank, and we do have some players listed for transfer, so we may yet be able to bring a left back into the club. So we have sold 5 first team players, raising 6 million euros in transfer funds, and we have also sent Felix Bjert out on loan for 2 seasons to Ghent, and this means we have now got 14 million euros in the bank to bring a left back to the club. So we have managed to bring a left back into the club, and have we overspent? Definitely. However, this man was my top target, and I think long term this is a fantastic investment. We chose to bring in Joaquin Says from Club Bruges. He is a 20-year-old 71 rated left back, and also play right back with decent stats. He is showing great potential, however his market value is only 4.3 million. We have just paid 12.2 million to sign him. We've massively overpaid, yes, but he is a very quality player with excellent potential in FC25, and I'm hoping within 2 or 3 seasons this guy will be well above 80 rated. But we are now left with just 1 million euros in the bank, and we do still have some contracts to renew, so there'll be no more signings in season number 2, and that means this will be the Westerlo team to take us into season number 2. Our new signings don't come in and elevate our team to the next level right now, but they do have excellent potential, and hopefully in 2 or 3 seasons time they'll both be well above 80 rated. One area that does slightly concern me though is the bench not looking very strong, and because we've sold so many players we do have quite a small squad, so injuries could ruin our season. Now because we beat Union St Gilloise in the European playoff, we will be playing Conference League football this season, and all I want in this competition is for us to give a good account of ourselves in the league phase. And so with our transfer window now being closed, I don't think there's anything left we can do other than simulate forward straight through to the end of season 2. And this season we're all about just developing our first team players. So we've arrived at the end of season number 2, boys, and we actually managed to finish in the championship stage of the Pro League, finishing 4th overall. And because we have finished 4th in the championship round, we will take on the winner of the playoff round again, and I think this is for a place in the Conference League again in season 3. And we will be playing Conference League football again in season 3, boys. We easily dispatched of Genk 3-0 over 2 legs, and in season 3 Westerlo are back in the Conference League. Speaking of the Conference League, we did progress through the league phase, which I'm really happy about. We were knocked out in the playoff round by FC25 4-0 over 2 legs. No shame in that, boys. They've got a much better squad than us at the minute. However, it would be disappointment in the Crocky Cup as SP Charleroi knocked us out in the first round 4-2. Really disappointed. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season number 2, and we have seen so much growth across the entire team. However, this is where the rebuild takes a bit of a twist. We cannot win the Champions League trophy until all of our squad are Belgian, so we now need to get the wheels turning in getting every single non-Belgian player out of the club and replaced. Now, we're going to really struggle to do that all in one transfer window. You may have noticed we have been selling quite a lot of non-Belgian players in the first 2 transfer windows, but it's now time to replace key first team players. So who in the team needs replacing? Friggin needs replacing. Bayad Manesh, Haspalat, Bayram and Reynolds all need replacing. And we will continue to do this process until the entire squad is made up of only Belgian players, and we can finally go for our end goal of winning the Champions League. So in terms of stats, Friggin did chip in with 22 goals and 4 assists. It will be a shame to see him go, but we need to replace him with a Belgian striker. striker. Let's now get into season 3 and bring some more Belgian players into the club. So we've arrived in season 3 and we've somehow got less money than season 2, only 11 million euros in the bank. Well lads, we have managed to sell Friggin and Reynolds and we have brought in some serious money. Friggin leaves for 47.5 million euros and Reynolds leaves for 27 million euros, leaving us with 75 million in the bank, so we will be able to bring a striker and right back in for definite, and I think we're going to have surplus funds and we can make more signings and get more Belgians into our first team. Well, I think it's about time we make some signings. We have identified the striker we want to bring to Westerlo, and that man is Lucas Stassin of Saint Etienne. He's 21 years old, he is 76 rated with really nice stats. He's very affordable as well, boys. They're going to want anywhere from 13.2 to 16.5 million euros, has showing great potential. I think this would be an excellent pickup for us. And Stassin signs for 14 million euros, signing number 1 ticked off. And we've also identified the right back we want to bring to Westerlo. This man is Kylian Sardella of Anderlecht. He would make a direct rival weaker. He's 77 rated, 24-year-old with really well-rounded stats. Going to cost us anywhere from 15.4 to 19.3 million euros. But for the meantime, Sardella will fill the Reynolds-shaped hole in our defence and he signs for 14 million. And lads, we have actually still got 42 million euros in the bank, so I think we can now replace all non-Belgian players in our starting 11. That's right, boys. Haspolat, Sayed Manesh and Bayram have been added to the transfer list, meaning we need to bring a CDM, left mid and centre back into the club in this transfer window, and then our entire starting 11 will be Belgian, and then next season we can work on getting all the rotation players out who are not Belgian, get them replaced as well. And while we try and sell those players, we have identified the centre back we want to bring to the club. Mate Smets of Genk. He is 22-year-old, 76 rated, looks like a really decent player, and he's affordable as well. We're going to pay anywhere from 15.2 to 19 million euros for his services. And Smets is in, boys, for 17 million euros, another very young, high potential Belgian brought into our starting 11. Lads, we have made a silly amount of money in this transfer window. We've managed to sell Sayed Manesh, Bayram and Haspolat. 40 million for Sayed Manesh, 29.7 million for Bayram and 21.1 million for Haspolat. And this has now left us with 102 million euros to bring a left mid and CDM to the club. And you best believe we are going for some of the best Belgian wonder kids in the game. Lads, I just have to. Arthur Vermeeren, 21-year-old, 80 rated CDM playing for RB Leipzig. I have to bring him to the club. He has got amazing stats, 4-star weak foot and a few play styles, and he is going to cost us anywhere from 36.2 to 45 million euros, meaning we'll still have some money left over for a left mid. And Vermeeren signs for the club for 38 million euros. What an unbelievable signing this is. And we are still left with 62 million euros in the bank, so why not bring another Belgian wonder kid to the club? Julian Duranville of Bayer Leverkusen is 77 rated and 20-year-old with really decent stats, 4 play styles and 5-star skill moves, and he's not even going to cost us that much, boys. Anywhere from 24 to 30 million euros for his services. I think he would be an incredible pickup and would round off an incredible transfer window. And Duranville signs for the club for 25 million euros, rounding off what I think's been one of our best ever transfer windows in FC25. And with all our new signings added to the starting 11, this will be the Westerlo team to take us into season number 3. The full starting 11 is full of Belgian wonder kids, which we love to see. Vermeeren becomes our first 80 rated player. We've got a lot of players who will be knocking on the door of 80 rated come the end of the season, and I think we should be aiming higher than the Conference League this year. We need to be getting in at least the Europa League in season 3. Now we do still have 35 million euros in the bank, but honestly, we've done so much business in season 3. I don't want to fully upset the harmony of the squad. We're going to bring in some real high level coaches and save this money for next season. So I'm going to call time on our transfer window. I'm really excited to see how this team develops in season number 3. So let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of the season and see how we get on. So we have arrived at the end of season number 3, boys, and it looks like our season 3 transfers have definitely paid off, as we have won our first Belgian Pro League trophy, finishing top of the league at the end of the championship round, winning the league title on goal difference ahead of Genk, adding our first trophy to our trophy cabinet. And it has taken us just 3 seasons to take Westerlo from relegation threatened to the champions of Belgium, and you know what that means. We are in the Champions League next season. Now in the Croaky Cup we made the quarter final but lost to STVV 2-1. Still yet to add a Croaky Cup to our trophy cabinet. And another trophy we won't be adding to our trophy cabinet is the Conference League. We once again lost in the playoff round to Lazio 5-1 over 2 legs, showing there is some work to be done to the squad if we're going to be successful in Europe. So cup disappointments to one side, this team actually won us a Belgian Pro League trophy. We've got loads of players now over 80 rated, with Vermeeren being our best player. Next season I am going to keep a close eye on Adam's development, as he's not really growing at a fast rate. We may have to bring a new centre back to the club, but we're not too sure just yet. Our goal for season number number 4 will be to sell every remaining non-Belgian player and replace them with a Belgian player. So players like Gure, Yo and Haidara will be leaving the club next season. And what a signing Lucas Snassin turned out to be. 29 goals and 6 assists in 14 games. That's a fantastic return. Duranville, Pratsas and Sikowet all got over 10 goals as well, which is fantastic. So what a season 3 turned out to be. We've actually added a Pro League trophy to our trophy cabinet. Let's now get into season 4, get ready for the Champions League and get every non-Belgian player out of the club. So we have arrived in season number 4 and the board have given us 34 million euros, which I think is a pretty decent transfer budget. Now all our remaining non-Belgian players have been added to the transfer list, so we are definitely going to need a backup winger in this transfer window and a backup centre back. However, we have already got striker and attacking midfielder cover, so backup right midfielder, backup centre back, and that should be our transfer window done. Now the centre back we have identified to bring to Westerlo in this transfer window is Lucas Nube, who is playing for Blackburn in the Championship. He is 74 rated, 22-year-old, has actually got really nice stats, very affordable as well, as the max we're going to pay for him is 10.9 million euros, and that would save us a nice amount of transfer budget to bring a right midfielder to the club. And Lucas Nube signs for 9.5 million euros, and we've got plenty of money left to bring in a backup right midfielder. And we have already identified the right midfielder we want to bring to Westerlo in this transfer window, and it's Cyril Nonge of Napoli. He's 78 rated, 27-year-old. It's got really nice stats, 4-star skill move as well, which is really nice. Again, he falls into our price range, 13.1 to 16.4 million Napoli are going to ask for. And at 78 rated, I think he'd be a very, very good backup option. And Cyril Nonge signed to the club for 16.5 million euros, and we have definitely elevated the level of our bench in this window. With Nube and Nonge added to our bench, we've definitely got more options to bring on in games. Bayer and Romans are also good options along with Vason. However, I'm under no illusions that if we're going to win the Champions League, the rest of this bench will need to be improved across the duration of this rebuild. With no first team signings expected in this window, this will be the Westerlo team that takes into season number 4. As we can see, Karetsas has already reached 80 rated and Saradella has reached 81 rated, which is really nice to see. Just waiting on Sayers and Adam to reach 80 rated before we have an entire starting 11 of 80 rated players. Now we're left with 1 million euros in the bank, but we do still need to bring some coaches in and renew some contracts, so we're going to be using the funds that we make from selling non-Belgian players to renew those contracts and bring those coaches in. So boys, we have now managed to sell all non-Belgian players from the squad. We have got a complete squad full of Belgian players, as Fernand Gure, Griffin Yo, Reece Yalule and Bakary Haidara all leave the club, and this has brought in 6 million euros to the club. However, our transfer window is now going to be finished, as we're going to be using this money to bring coaches and renew contracts. Now this season we will be debuting in the Champions League. At least I think Westerlo have never played in the Champions League before. I know they have played in the Europa League at some point. Now some of our standout fixtures from the league phase are Celtic, Barcelona and Liverpool. Some really difficult games in our first season in the Champions League. If we can get through the league phase, I'll be absolutely buzzing. We are now going to be simulating forward straight through to the end of season number 4. Let's see if we can retain a Belgian Pro League crown and how we get on our debut season in the Champions League. So we have arrived at the end of season number 4, boys, and I think this is going to become a pretty common theme in this rebuild. We have once again won the Belgian Pro League, finishing 9 points clear of Genk, adding a second Pro League trophy to our trophy cabinet, and once again in season number 5 we will be playing in the Champions League. And we have also won our first Croaky Cup of the rebuild, beating OH Leuven 2-1 in the final. I know I butchered that name, by the way, and that's a Croaky Cup also added to our trophy cabinet. Now in the Champions League we could only make the playoff round, as RB Leipzig beat us 4-1 over 2 legs. My goal was just to progress through the league phase, and we did that with flying colours. Hopefully next season we can actually win a few knockout games. So this is how the Westerlo team is looking at the end of season number 4, and it's looking very strong. The Amiran, Stassin and Duranville are clearly our best players. The rest of the team is growing really nicely as well, and I think I'm going to give this starting 11 another season to develop, as we're once again going to focus on improving our bench. In season number 5 I feel like we need a better centre attacking midfielder than LeBlanc, as he's only 68 rated, and we're definitely going to need to bring in a backup CDM, as Fixel is only 69 rated and we will not be renewing his contract. I think if we can bring in adequate replacements for them to our bench, we'll be taken to the next level and we'd have a better chance of actually getting further in the Champions League. Now in terms of stats, what a signing Lucas Stassin has been. 38 goals and 7 assists in 55 games. That is an incredible return. So season 4 has been yet another success, with our trophy cabinet is starting to fill up. We just really now need to add that Champions League trophy to it. So we've arrived in season number 5, and for some reason the board have only given us 25 million euros. It's a good thing that we're only signing backup players in this window, ain't it? So the first player that we want to bring to Westerlo in season number 5 is Noah Mabamba. He is 23-year-old and 76 rated. He looks like a really decent player, would be a very good backup, and he is affordable as well, boys, as Osasuna are going to want anywhere from 10.6 to 13.2 million euros for him, and I think he would be a very adequate backup to our current starting CDMs. And Noah Mbamba joins the club for 10.5 million euros. I think he'll be a very good backup for us in season number 5. We are now left with 13 million euros to bring a backup centre attacking midfielder to the club, and we have actually got a very interesting transfer lined up in terms of a backup cam. Kevin Jacobs, who is currently playing in Turkey, is 21-year-old and 75 rated. He has got really nice stats and 4-star skill moves. I think he'd be an excellent backup player for us, and because his contract is expiring in 12 months time, we can get him below his market value with a price range from anywhere 7.2 to 9.6 million euros, and he's actually got pretty good potential as well, as he's showing great potential. Could actually be a bit of a steal this. And we have completed the signing of Kevin Jacobs for 8 million euros, and I think he'll be a very good backup player. And with Mbamba and Jacobs added to our bench and Van den Broek coming back from his loan at 76 rated, I think we have got a very good bench on paper. We still need to replace Sagers, which we can always do next season, but given the fact we've had such limited funds this transfer window, I do actually think we have definitely improved the squad, and having more options on the bench is only going to help us out in the Champions League. Now we are left with just 5 million euros in the bank, so there's going to be no more signings at all in this transfer window. However, 1 or 2 players could leave us on loan. Now we have only had 2 outgoings in this transfer window. Charlie LeBlanc and Arthur Van den Broek have left the club on season-long loans just to get some valuable first team minutes. Hopefully they come back to us ready to push on for a first team place. Now this season we are once again back in the Champions League, and we've actually got some very interesting fixtures in the league phase. We'll be taking on Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona and Napoli, just to name a few, so we've got some very difficult fixtures on our hands. Hopefully we can go one better than the playoff round this time, maybe make the quarterfinals, as we've got a very strong squad on paper. But the only way to find out if we do that is by simulating forward straight through to the end of season number 5. We have reached the end of season number 5, and we have added yet another Belgian Pro League to our trophy cabinet, winning the league by 2 points. Genk finished in second, meaning once again in season number 6 we will be playing in the Champions League. However, we would lose in the Croaky Cup semi-final to Ghent 5-4 over 2 legs in a thrilling tie. I suppose we can't win everything in Belgium every season, boys. And we've shown some serious improvement in the Champions League, making the quarterfinals, where unfortunately Borussia Dortmund beat us 5-4 over 2 legs. But like a really thrilling tie, and hopefully we can go further next season. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season number 5, and what a team we have got on paper here at Westerlo. We now have 2 90 rated players in our first team in Vermeer and Duranville. Kretsas, Stassin and Piedfort are not far behind at all. That starting 11 is definitely good enough to win us a Champions League. They're all so young, lads. They're going to continue developing next season. Our bench is really starting to come on. Really good options all across the bench. Now in season number 6, I'm not too sure how much money I'm actually going to have in the bank. I am tempted to sell Lemens and try and bring in a better goalkeeper, if there actually is a better Belgian goalkeeper. We may look to replace Sikawet out on the right. I'm not too sure. I'm actually happy with that starting 11. I think it's very strong. Now in terms of stats, Lucas Stassin, what a player we have got here. 48 goals and 10 assists in 58 games. That is absolutely ridiculous. And looking at our stats, he has definitely carried us this season. So we have been outstanding yet again in season number 5, showing great progression. All we really need to do now is win the Champions League trophy. So we have arrived in season number 6, and the board have been a little bit more generous, giving us 39 million euros. Still not a lot of money. Now we have scoured the entire transfer market, and believe it or not, Lemens and Sikawet are the best Belgian players in their positions, so we cannot actually replace them. We are going to be looking, however, for a backup striker in this window. We have identified the backup striker we want to bring to Westerlo this transfer window, and it is Coventry City striker Norman Bassetti. He is 78 rated, 24-year-old. He's got decent stats for a backup player, and he's affordable as well. We're going to be paying anywhere from 16.6 to 20.8 million euros for him. I think he'd be a really decent backup for us, so let's bring him to the club. And we have signed Norman Bassetti for 18 million euros in what looks like our only deal of this window. However, we do still have 19 million euros, so I might go back into the market and bring another backup centre-back to the club. And we have brought in another backup centre-back, boys. Rian van Helden joins us. A 3-year deal for 12 million euros. He's 26-year-old, 77 rated, very decent backup player. That is definitely our transfer window done. We are also not looking to sell anyone. Now this season we are once again in the Champions League, and some of our standout fixtures from the league phase are Bayern Munich, Lyon and Manchester City, so we are going to have to be at our absolute best to get through our league phase. We got to the quarterfinals last season. We've got an excellent squad. I want at least the semi-finals this season. Let's simulate forward straight through to the end of the season and see if we did. Now we have arrived at the end of season number 6, boys, and you know the drill. We have won yet another Belgian Pro League. This time, wow, we were by far the best team in the league. We were a whopping 17 points clear clear of second place Club Brugge, and we have added a third Belgian Pro League to our trophy cabinet. And interestingly, we do still have the Croaky Cup final to play against Standard Liège. I wonder why we've not played it yet. Well, we have not yet played it because we've got another final before it, the Champions League final, and we are taking on Inter Milan. In the league phase, we were pretty poor. We finished 13th, drawing 4 of our games, only losing once on 13 points, meaning we had to play a playoff where we absolutely smashed AZ Alkmaar 6-0 over 2 legs. We would then go on to beat Lyon 6-3 over 2 legs before beating Bayern Munich 4-3 over 2 legs in a very thrilling tie. We would then dispatch Chelsea 5-1 over 2 legs in the semi-final to set up a final with Inter Milan. And this is the Westerlo team we are taking into the Champions League final, and this could be one of the best teams we have ever used in FC25. 7 of our starting 11 are 90 rated or above. Kretsas, Vermeeren, Duranville and Stassin are all actually above 90 rated, which is mad. The lowest rated players in our team are Lemens and Sikowet at 85 rated. We've got such a strong team on paper. Even our bench is stacked full of talent. I'd probably say we are the favourites in this final. Now, in terms of stats, Lucas Stassin, man, he has been a joke. 42 goals and 13 assists. Honestly, one of the best players we've used in FC25. Kretsas had a great season as well, getting 23 goals and 12 assists. Loads of other players have played well, and we just need these lads to turn up one more time against Inter Milan in the Champions League final. So welcome everyone to the Estadio de Benfica for the Champions League final, Westerlo versus Inter Milan. Let's get this trophy to Belgium. Get across, get across, get across, Adam. Alves could be in. First chance of the game. What a tackle. What a tackle that is. Oh no. Alvarez. Could be a goal. What are we doing? Should be one behind, to be fair. Stassin with a chance to turn here. Break into the box. That's really good pace by Stassin. It's 1-0 to Westerlo. What a goal by Lucas Stassin. Uses that incredible pace to get into the box and rifles a rocket into the top corner. And against the runner play, we are 1-0 up in this final. Look at this for a finish. No keeper is ever saving that. And against the runner play, it is 1-0 to Westerlo in the Champions League final. Stassin could be in. Is he onside? It's onside! Stassin's onside. This could be 2-0. Lucas Stassin, bang, he's never gonna miss, boys. Right into the top corner. In to try and play an offside trap that just does not work at all, and Lucas Stassin doubles our lead. But that is half time, boys. We're 2-0 up in the final. After an edgy first 30 minutes since we took the lead, we've been in complete control, and we are getting very close to winning the Champions League with Westerlo. Sancho, oh, what a ball by Sancho. Alvarez over the bar. That's Inter in the 75th minute, the first time they've really troubled us in the second half. Alvarez, Williams, chance shot. Great save by Lemens. That could be a big save at this stage of the game. Cuts inside. Stassin could be away here for his hat-trick. Lucas Stassin. Oh my god. Oh my, what a way to seal your hat-trick, Lucas Stassin. What a goal, the chop, the finish. The guy has been absolutely ridiculous in this final. Look at the chop and just look at the finish. We've nearly played 10 minutes of added time. There is finally the full-time whistle. We have won the Champions League with Westerlo using only Belgian players, and what a rebuild this has been. And all that's left to do, boys, is lift the Champions League trophy. What a rebuild it has been. And Westerlo are the champions of Europe using only Belgian players. That's another rebuild successfully boxed off. So we have won the Champions League with Westerlo. There is just one final cup final to play. And we round off the rebuild with yet another trophy win. We have won yet another Croaky Cup, beating Standard Liège 3-1 in the final. And what a way to round off the rebuild. If you have enjoyed this rebuild, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it does really help me out. We're trying to get 5k on the channel. And I will see you next week for another rebuild.